It's new recipe time, and so what I'm going to do this week is, the bad habit of mine is I buy bread a lot and it goes stale, and so then I end up throwing it away. So here's like a half a loaf of bread. Sorry, that's my oven preheating. Half a loaf of bread that I would normally throw away. So I Googled Pinterest, and the main three things people do with stale bread is they either make croutons, they make breadcrumbs, or they make bread pudding. So out of those three choices, I've decided to make breadcrumbs. So the main way to finish drying out your bread is to leave it on the counter for a couple days, like out of the package, spread out. But I can't do that. I have cats. I have one cat in particular who loves to chew on bread, so there is no way I can leave a loaf of bread unwrapped sitting on the counter. Even wrapped, I can't leave bread. Like right now, if I left this on the counter, Ollie would be chewing holes into this. So yeah, I cannot leave bread out to dry naturally. So another way to dry your bread is to bake it in the oven at your lowest setting. The recipe I read said 150, but my lowest setting is 170. So I'm going to take these bread slices, put them on a cookie sheet, and put them in the oven until they dry out extremely dry and brittle. And then the next step is to blend them in the food processor. But let's get started. I'm gonna stick this in the oven. I got my cookie sheets. I'm gonna put the bread on there. Hopefully I won't need more than 2 cookie sheets. And then put it in the oven at currently 170. Like I said, the recipe I found online said 150, but I gotta do what I have. So anyway, let's get started drying bread out. The extra bread I had did actually fit on the trays, so I feel very wasteful whenever I throw bread away, so I'm excited to try this, and I do actually use breadcrumbs, so hopefully it works out. This is new. I've never done this before, so hopefully it works. Alright, this bread is definitely crunchy. It took 2 hours in the oven at the 170. So a little longer than I expected, but it's fine. It's not like I sat and watched it. I continued working and just checking on it every once in a while. So the next step is to break this up in pieces and then put it in the blender to blend it into little crumbs. Alright, so I'm just blending it on grate. This is the part where you turn your volume down. Most of it. Let me do it a little more. Alright, close your ears. Alright, that looks good. So it is definitely breadcrumbs and pretty easy to grate it up. This is 16 pieces of bread ground up, so I don't know, looks to be about 4 cups to me. So this is just plain breadcrumbs, and I actually have a recipe that I want to make for lunch tomorrow. I love making stuffed artichokes. There is an Italian restaurant around here that used to make the best stuffed artichokes as an appetizer. They quit carrying it, and so I just learned how to make my own. And one of the ingredients is breadcrumbs. When I was Pinteresting this recipe, another person mentioned on how to turn the breadcrumbs into Italian breadcrumbs. So that's what I'm going to do next. So you take 1 cup of the breadcrumbs, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. You see I have all these ingredients. I happen to have everything already, and that's even better. Not having to buy anything extra, just using up what I have, you know, is my favorite thing to do. So back to that, it is 1/4 teaspoon salt, 1/2 teaspoon garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon dried oregano. Most of these are my husband's spices. Like, honestly, he's the cook, not me. I'm learning, so I was surprised we even had half this stuff, but he must have bought a lot of it. Ground black pepper, and then 1/2 teaspoon parsley, a 1/4 teaspoon basil, And then the last one is 1/4 teaspoon onion powder. I don't have onion powder, but this is chopped onions. They're very small, so hopefully it is good enough to be the same. Again, it's just breadcrumbs that are going to be in this artichoke, so I'm hoping this is a good substitution. So I'm going to measure out all those ingredients and then show you what it looks like when it's done. So I'm going to just do 1 cup of this. Well, I'll see how big 1 cup is because I only have 2 artichokes. So, but I might want to do a cup for each artichoke. So I'm going to make 2 cups of the Italian seasoning, and then I'm going to put the rest in a bag and freeze it for a recipe next week. Here is the breadcrumbs with all the Italian spices added. So it actually ended up being, the whole bowl was 2.25 breadcrumbs after I measured it out. So I decided to go ahead and use all the breadcrumbs and make them into Italian breadcrumbs because I just, what am I going to do with 0.25 cup of breadcrumbs? So anyway, I'll use them all for the stuffed artichoke. I added the spices, doubled it with a little couple extra pinches, and it looks really good. It smells really good. It definitely looks like Italian breadcrumbs to me. So yeah, I definitely liked this way of using up the stale bread. I definitely will do this more often if I don't eat all my bread. I'm trying to make more of an effort not to buy bread unless I'm going to actually use it, because like I said, I don't want things to go to waste. So the fact that if I do buy too much bread and I can make breadcrumbs and actually use them, it makes me extremely happy. So tomorrow for lunch, I will have stuffed artichokes. And I will probably do a separate video showing how I make stuffed artichokes. It's just a favorite snack of mine. I don't do it a lot because eating artichokes full, you know what, I'm definitely going to do a video because it is complicated and it's not easy to actually eat artichokes like that, but they're so enjoyable, so it is well worth it. And if you guys are interested, I definitely will do that separate video. But yeah, anyway, don't let your bread go to waste. Turn it into breadcrumbs.